So Vienna is like a few other places that we've seen already in our tours of different areas. We saw this with Fairfax and also Falls Church, and that they are, the city of Falls Church with the greater Falls Church area surrounding it. And in this situation, we have the town of Vienna, which is kind of in the center. And then we have the greater Vienna area, which is those other parts that share that Vienna postal code.
As we were doing the research for this Vienna area, I gotta say that I really started to fall for Vienna because, Falls Church used to be my favorite place on the map as far as like in Fairfax County. So when we're looking at Fairfax County, what parts that really resonate with me, I like the ability to walk to restaurants. I also like quick access to either the interstate or to creature comforts.
Creature comforts, yes. That's his big thing.
Right. So with Vienna, as we were researching it, they have larger homes in the Vienna area, much more so than the Falls Church area. They have more transactions, which means that you'll be able to find more properties in the Vienna area.
So the first neighborhood we're going to talk about is Country Creek. It is a neighborhood of townhouses.
Cute townhouses.
Cute townhouses. They were built between like the late 70s to mid 90s. The reason he says cute townhouses is because if you live in Northern Virginia, you'll get very familiar with the look of Northern Virginia. Everything looks the same, like from one subdivision to the next, one area to the next. There's just not a lot of variety, especially when it comes to townhome communities.
Yes.
We have literally been in areas where like, are we on our block?
Right.
Because they just look so similar. And this particular community was unlike any we've seen before. Again, the townhomes are a little bit older, starting in the 70s, but they just have exterior layouts. The construction of them is different than what we're used to seeing, and unlike any other neighborhoods we've seen. So that was pretty cool to see a different type of architecture as far as townhomes, again, because we just see so much of the same thing over and over again. So you're gonna see a lot of 3 or 4 bedroom townhomes. No surprise there. Usually townhomes are about 3 to 4 bedrooms. Average sales price is gonna be just under $710,000 over the last 12 months. And
reasonable.
That is reasonable for
Especially,
this area, for Vienna. That's very reasonable.
For this location.
For this location, yeah.
One of the things I like about this particular community is, in addition to the variety of styles of exterior properties, they also have a lot of green space, right? A lot of green space, a lot of mature trees, right? You can't find mature trees in a development that's new because it takes a while to grow trees, right? And also trees that we learned this just recently. If you buy a tree already fully grown, it adds a couple $1,000s to the price. So that's one of the cool things about living in this particular community here. And I like the fact that you can walk to the metro stop, you can walk to some creature comforts, and at $700,000, I think that's a reasonable price. I mean, of course, it's above the average sales price for the Northern Virginia area, but if you're going to be in some of the top tier public schools, if you're going to have such quick access to the metro stop and the interstate, I mean, you really can't beat that.
You really can't. So next up on the list, we have a neighborhood of single family homes in Dunn Woods. It is an interesting neighborhood. It's actually really nice, older single families built in like the early 60s to late 70s.
Right.
So you're gonna see the type of homes that were built during that time. Ramblers, ranches, you're gonna see a lot of like split foyer, split level. And then a couple colonials and traditionals thrown in as well.
That was also their neighborhood. We saw a couple additions.
There were a few additions. So this isn't one of those older neighborhoods that you're going to see a lot of tear downs or new construction,
right.
But there are a few additions, a couple of new constructions. Well, the reason I said this neighborhood is interesting is because we're driving around the neighborhood, nice, quaint, smaller homes, nice sized lots, quarter acre, half acre lot. So pretty nice lot, reasonably priced. Single family homes average around $800,000. And I knew the neighborhood bordered 66.
Right.
When I say border, I mean it backs up to the interstate.
Right.
And so some of the homes actually back up, like the barrier for the interstate is in their backyard. And you can see, just like Abraham said, with a Country Creek, you're gonna see a lot of mature trees. This is an established neighborhood that's been around for a long time. They have quite a few sales. I think there were 26 sales last year. Even though it's not a terribly large neighborhood, that's a considerable number of sales. considering the size of the community. Next up, we have Providence Park, which is another community here in Vienna. It's a pretty small community. They only had about 15 sales last year. Average sales price was between $750,000 and $800,000. But what I like about this neighborhood is the townhomes are gonna be a little bit newer, so they're built in the late 90s. They're all brick. I actually really like the look of brick townhome communities. Has a sleeker look than some of the other areas. So I really like the brick front townhomes. All of them are gonna be 3-level, either single or 2-car garage.
What's cool about these townhouses, I know Chris already mentioned she likes the brick townhouses. They do have vinyl siding on the side, so it's not an all brick townhouse. They do have 2-car garage units, which I love that. If money was no object for our family and we didn't mind spending twice the price of the average sales price of a home in Fairfax County, Vienna Woods would be where we would live. That's where we would live. I mean, I love the look of the different styles of properties. There's also 3 parks you can walk to from your property. There's also the swim and tennis club in the community. You can go to 2 different metro stops. This neighborhood, kid you not, it has a lot of things that I think everybody would want, but most people won't really be able to afford.
That's true. The average sales price for Vienna Woods was over 1.2 million over the last 12 months. And just to put that in perspective, the high was 2.1 million. And there are some lower sales prices. The low was 625,000.
Now with that 625, we do find a lot of people at that lower price range tearing those houses down and putting up new construction properties.
That's true, but still, under 700, you can still find something renovated. It will be smaller. That is not necessarily a tear down. So that is the interesting thing about it. Now, what I like about this area is, as Abraham said, there are lots of great new homes. This is an older community. Most of the homes were built in the 50s. And so what we're seeing here is this is actually a community that's in middle of transition, but it's unlike other transitioning neighborhoods in that it is not like transitioning one house at a time.
Right, it's not subtle at all.
It's not subtle.
No.
It's not subtle. There are whole streets that have been rebuilt. The homes have been torn down and newer homes have been rebuilt. And so in those older neighborhoods, when you look at those older homes, you're gonna see what you expect from homes built in the 50s. We're gonna see a lot of ramblers, a lot of ranches, some split foyers, that traditional type of home that was built, 60, 70 years ago. Now, when you look at the newer construction, there's been a lot of new construction over the last 10 years. And we noticed a theme with that. We noticed a lot of craftsmen.
Oh, yes.
It seems like every builder was like, you know what, this is the new thing. This is what the buyers want, with the exception of a few contemporaries, a few transitionals. For the most part, the new construction was craftsmen.
Yes. I don't know why craftsmen is winning the competition for what houses are being built right now. Even in Arlington, you see a lot of craftsmen going up when a teardown is taking place. So I guess the market right now likes craftsmen, so that's cool.
It's what the buyers want, I guess. Yeah.
It just becomes a little redundant when you start to see craftsmen after craftsmen after craftsmen. And then everybody's using blue paint. What about those red? I mean, there's yellow. There's all kind of other colors in the rainbow, people.
I don't know if I said it already, but this is the largest area that we're going to talk about for all of Vienna. I mean, they had more sales in this one neighborhood than they did in a few of the others combined. Yeah. So this is a great place, as Abraham said, location-wise, it's fantastic. It's in one of the top-rated school districts. It's close to a lot of creature comforts. So I can see why you like it. So now we're gonna cover the last neighborhood for today's video, and that's gonna be Wolf Trap Woods. This is my favorite area. It's to me, it's kind of like a happy medium. The homes there are built in like the late 70s to the early 80s. And so I think that it's a nice mix of homes, whereas, you know, some of the other communities have like older homes like Vienna Woods, and then there's a lot of new construction that's been built over the last 20 years. These homes were built kind of right in the middle of that time, and I love them. This particular neighborhood has a lot of contemporary homes. In addition to that, you're gonna see some colonials and some traditionals. Nice size lots, usually somewhere between a quarter and a half acre. Sales price is gonna be higher than the average in Northern Virginia. You're looking at about $1,070,000. So that's a little bit higher than what we're used to seeing throughout Northern Virginia.
Just a little bit. Just
a little bit, just twice this time.
Yeah.
And so I actually really like this neighborhood. This community in particular is actually really close. It's actually adjacent to the Wolf Trap National Park.
Right.
Which is a huge national park here in Fairfax County. And in addition to all that parkland, they have their own like 117 acres of wooded space for this particular neighborhood.
For that association.
For that association. And so within that association, they have a basketball court, tennis courts, no pool, but lots of trails. So Abraham said, you know, he really liked Vienna Woods and some of the other neighborhoods because they're close to creature comfort, so you can walk to everything. And actually, what I like most about this neighborhood is it feels like you're in the middle of a park. I mean, look at all the trees, the homes back to trees. I love the beautiful contemporary style of the homes. You just don't see many homes in this style. They're on really nice sized lots.
That should be enough information to get you started to deciding whether or not you want to live in Vienna.
If you have any questions about today's video, be sure to leave it down in the comments below. And if you want to meet with us about your pending move to Northern Virginia, make sure you check out the Perfect Home Questionnaire, which is linked down below, and one of us will reach out to you for a perfect home consultation.
We'll see you on the next video. Peace.